Good morning, good morning. Happy Thursday. Again, it's Thursday. Again. I am Jamie Ray, and this is Explore the Body. And welcome to the Yoga for Love online healing art center. I've slept about 22 hours within the last 30, so I'm a bit. But we're gonna do this, right? We're doing hamstrings today. Deeper dive. Releasing old ways of being, the old paradigm. It don't work no more. And if you're not seeing that, you probably wouldn't be here. We will be working with the noodle ball, the big ball, and the strap today. Let's begin. Actually, let's begin with a little heart opening. Right? Let's bring out the love first. Just a little roll through the heart space. You take your noodle ball, make a little bit of space right between you. 2 middle center balls to make room for your spine. We're just placing it right in the center of the back, just at the lower ribs. We're just going to lie back over that. And we're going to melt in. Allowing those balls to sink into the tissue becoming accepting. Now right in here, I like to try to start to lengthen the spine, get that tail nice and long, and then I'm dropping the shoulders back. And as that's starting to loosen up, I'm going to start to pull my knees up and in towards my chest and begin a little rocking motion. Just rocking side to side. And I'm just working with the knees, pulling them in and out as I'm rocking and pausing any place and inviting extra knots of tension. Already feeling the neck release. And I'm starting to kind of walk my booty down the mat, inching the balls up along the spine, further into the heart space. Nice deep full breaths, big sighs. Releasing all this tension off of the heart. As above, so below. We cannot break free of old ways of being, old ways of existing in this world without having an open heart. And this is playing out in the collective. The most powerful way to create change is to create the change within the self. This is truly where our power lies. Through that, our voices, our reflections, the commonality of our shared experience and deep heart vibration, the resonance. That's where the change comes from. I'm making my way up through the heart space again, just playing with it, finding those places where you need to pause. Just be there, be in it. Oh, feel it. Oh, release it. Oh. A little rolling action. I'm pressing into my heels, lifting the buttocks, and just pushing up and down. My arms are out to the side. This allows the balls to roll on the outer edges of the scapulas. You can take your weight slightly left and slightly right. Oh. I'm going to take the balls now and make a bit of a V. I'm placing them just at the tops of the shoulders. The top balls are now right at the tops of the traps. And the V is going right in between the scapulas. I'm going to lie back again. This time really pressing into my feet, lifting up the buttocks, bringing my elbows in and towards one another. This is opening up the back space of the body, allowing the scapulas to spread open. The balls are sinking into the rhomboids, freeing those wings. Again, you can dip slightly left and right, allowing those balls to sink in, working along the edges of the scapulas. And then as I come up towards the top, I'm bringing my arms more up and overhead. And you can play with this within your own body by lifting slightly with the arms, just keeping them slightly off the earth. And I'm pressing really deeply into my heels, really lifting the buttocks up so that I'm pressing into the balls. As I bring the arms up and overhead and then take the elbows out, I start to get that pressure right on top of the traps. And again, I can drop left and drop right. I can add in a little movement of the head and neck. And this movement here with the arms, it might be slightly different for each of us, depending on how our frame and structure works. So it might be that you drop them all the way to the earth and then you're getting the pressure. You'll have to play with that within your own body. Find what works for you. All right, I'm going to straighten it back out, and I'm just going to do just a little roll through. I've just got my hands behind the head, tucking my chin, and pressing into the heels. I'm able to push and pull myself, rolling along these balls. And address any last little bits that are calling. All right, little heart space opened. We're going to come into find our big ball. We're going to start in the glutes. We're going to make our way down through the hamstrings, since that's what we're working on today. So you're just placing that ball right in the corner between the sacrum and just below the crest of the pelvis there, right into those glute attachments. You'll find it, and you're like, oh yeah, there it is. Ha. So once you find it, you're placing that same leg, ankle to the opposite knee. I like to keep the foot flexed. This keeps a nice stable foundation on the lower half. So we're not giving out our power by dumping the pelvis in any way. And we're just rolling, just finding those knots of tension. Go where you are guided. I generally have a path that I take in which I roll down along the sacrum, all the way down to the piriformis / sits bone, and then I roll up around the trochanter. But sometimes I'm called in different directions, so go wherever you feel the call. If you're up in here and it's like, ooh, let's go ahead and go on out. Do it. Follow the path. Helps push it out. Which is where I'm being guided this morning. So go ahead and go out to the edge, out to the side here first. That's where I've got more tension this moment. So as I come out to the edge, I'm just dipping my knee slightly, taking my weight to the side of that hip. Not on bone, just on the muscle, right up to the edge of the bone, where those muscles attach. That's the spot. That's what was asking for attention. Oh, shataya, onda, onda, shataya. Oh. And now I'm making my way down. Working on the inside edge of that trochanter, hip joint socket. Relinquishing that control. All right, got that broke up a bit. I'm going to take my leg and just place it out in front of me. I'm going to roll off, not putting too much pressure on that sits bone. I'm just going just underneath it, right into the back of the leg, where the back of the leg meets the butt, just underneath that sits bone. Now I'm resting here, and I can then lean forward a bit. I can adjust my position so I can shift myself left to right just a tad. And as I lean forward, I'm applying more pressure into the ball. And then I can begin to move my leg just slightly left, slightly right, rotate it slightly, in or out by rotating the foot. And I can find those knots of tension, and surrender into it. Whoosh. And then I'm just inching my way down. We're going to inch our way right down just above the back of the knee. You can also plant the opposite foot, and you can control some pressure here using the hands and the foot to lift the body. I'm just working through, kind of working my way down, finding those junkies. Find something, you can take a moment and pause, just leaning forward into it. We're kind of bringing this belly forward towards the thigh. Trying to not do just a upper body round over. That doesn't really help so much as it does bringing the belly forward. This brings the weight, keeps the integrity. And you can just kind of inch your body back, or you can just reach under and roll the ball down a bit with your hand. It really just depends on where you're at on your mat, how much room you have around you. What uses the least amount of effort, right? We're just kind of working all the way to the outer edges of the back of the thigh. So not all the way to the inner thigh, but just to the edge of it. You might find things when you go there that like, ooh, no, I want to go into the inner thigh. You can do that later. Ha. Now I'm getting deep into the belly of the hamstrings, right in the center. This is where I have the most tension. So the leg is like a timeline. We have conception. This is our adolescent years, basically coming up to the knee between the ages of about 5 and 7. So conception to 5 and 7, and from that point up into our teenage years, basically the line of where that sits bone is. That is the point in which we step into adulthood and take responsibility for ourselves. So the left side, inner world, our receiving side, our mother's side. The mother teaches us about how to deal with the inner world. The timeline is associated to the mother and the foot. This is the path of the mother's lineage. So this, the ankle, if you have ankle issues, it could have something to do with the path that you've chosen and maybe resistance to it. So as we come up into this range, we're really getting into those later youth years, teenage years. So this you could have things stored, memories, traumas, etc., having to do with thoughts, beliefs, patterns, incidents, traumas, woundings, etc., relating to the mother within this time frame. So I would guess I'm about 13 right here. Yeah. 13 to 15 time frame. And I have a nice stuck spot right there. So the hamstrings, to be hamstrung, to be strung up, held back by the hamstring. Right? It's what keeps us caught in loops and patterns, which we are repeating the same lessons over and over, calling the same people into the same positions in our lives, the same type of partner, different, same boss. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Different name, different face, acts the same, holds the same energy, etc. So we call in similar energy sometimes when we don't break the loop, don't break the cycle, and we keep repeating it over and over. So freeing up the hamstrings allows us to actually move forward, to change that pattern, to be in a new way of being, to be on move forward on the path in much more clarity. Again, just continuing to move down. Pausing in place where you're finding those key spots of tension. I find as I get lower in the hamstrings, I do have to lean forward a little bit more. And I've got my ankle or my heel is, I'm kind of going back and forth between allowing the heel to rest and lifting that heel off of the earth that presses the ball deeper into the muscle tissue. When we can examine the patterns that we have within our own lives and begin to break some of these cycles, we can also approach the cycles going on within the collective, within the whole, from a much clearer perspective. Breaking these old patterns, these loops. We just can't keep going with these loops, right? It just isn't serving. That's what this is all about. How do we step deeper into the truest version of self? How do we really embody it? Okay, just do a little roll through. See if there's any significant something I have like right there. It's a little extra. Oh, goodness. Yeah, that's a nice chunky one. Oh. All right, stay there all day. Let's switch sides. We're going to go into the left or right. Again, right into those glutes, outer edge of the sacrum, taking that right ankle to the left knee, keeping the foot slightly flexed. You don't have to fight this. You don't have to keep it gripped. Just don't let it be all fluffy, right? You don't want to just be like, bleh. You kind of keep this nice and solid foundation. Engaged. Again, just listening to the body, seeing which direction to go. We need to go down along the sacrum or out along the hip. Just listen to it. Just try to get all of it in there. Pause when we need to. Noticing which side holds the most tension. Tells you where your work is. Where needing to focus on the outer world or our feelings or resistances to it. And the right side might be more tender, more tense, more held. If the work is more inner focused and how you deal with the self or embodying the self, you might notice it more on the left side. My right side is surprisingly not very tight today. Okay, gotten through that. I'm gonna again take the ball, just going right below that sits bone, right into the back of the thigh, right where that crease is. We're just below the crease. And we're just allow the leg to melt or rest, and we're just bringing the belly forward, applying a bit of pressure, and begin to rotate the ankle, move the body a bit, find those knots of tension. And then we're starting to make our way down. So this is father's side, father's path, father's lineage, father's side timeline relating. Outer world. Our giving side. A lot of us have way less problems on giving to people and way more resistance around receiving, which is, a conundrum, especially the empathic souls. You just give and give and give and give and give, and then there's like this deep-seated sense of unworthiness or something that comes in and makes us feel like we're undeserving or unworthy to receive, which is all a bunch of BS. That's kind of been a construct in which we've been living in for lifetimes. But not no more. Times are changing. It's time to open up to receive. to that center point in the belly. At the back of the thigh. Continuing to make my way down towards the back of the knee, just above it. We're going to go straight into the back of the knee. Opening the body. Pausing any place. Ha. About, say about 10. All right, I'm going to start wrapping this up. Final roll through. Rotating the inner outer. Pausing any place that you find that just needs just a little extra love. Giving it a moment to release a little bit further. All right. All right. Just a little movement. You're going to come to your back. You're going to pull your knees up and in towards the chest. Get this tail nice and long. Drop those shoulders back. We're going to grab the outer edges of the feet. We're going to pull the heels away from the butt. So you're going to keep this tail, that sacrum, pressing down towards the earth. So we've got this downward push with the sacrum and this back pull, the heels pulling away. So we're kind of prying this open. And the knees are dropping down towards the earth, like out towards the armpits. So we're going to 3 directions here. Sacrum down, heels away, knees down to the earth. And just find the right placement, what works best for your position and how far you can go. we're going to start a little bit of a rocking motion. Now we're going to drop this left knee down towards the earth, and we're going to reach and extend through the right leg, really opening up the back of that leg. Again, try to drop that sacrum down towards the earth as you extend that leg. Now, if you can't reach your toe or your foot like this, you can grab a strap, and you can be doing it with the strap. And we're going to release. We're going to rock to the other side, dropping the right knee down towards the earth. Reach and extend through the left. Drop that sacrum down towards the earth. Pulling my toes back as well. So I'm really extending through that heel. Keep that breath moving. Now we're going to just rock on your own. Reach and extend. Hold as long as you desire. And just begin to play with it, rocking side to side. And then if you can, coming back to center and reach and extend through both heels. I've got my legs open, but play with this entire region. Feet towards one another and feet apart. Reach and extend through those heels. I'm going to start to bring my feet closer and closer to one another. And we have to come out onto the toes. And then bending the knees, drop the feet to the earth. Take a moment to just allow that to integrate. All right, we're gonna grab this strap. We're gonna inhale the right knee up and in. And then we're gonna take our strap, place it over the front ball of the foot, flexing the toes. Nice deep breath in. Exhale, reach and extend through that right heel. Got my left foot planted. We're just going to pull this, keeping the leg straight. We're pulling the thigh down towards the belly. Now you're going to slightly inward rotate the toes. Cool. Now coming back to center, and then we're going to do an outward rotation. And I feel like let's go ahead and just drop this foot out and over to the side, dropping it over to the right. Really reaching through that heel. This left knee is dropping out slightly to the left to kind of keep me in balance. Trying to keep my left hip down. Keeping that extension through the heel. Toes are flexed. Ha. Now we're going to pull it back up, coming back to center. One more time. See. Pulling those toes. Keeping that extension through the heel. And then bending the knee, releasing the foot. Give it a moment to relax. A little bit of movement. Lightening up. Lightening up. So when we work on this lower half of the body, we start to lighten the entire body, the entire being. All right, inhaling the left knee up and in towards the chest, taking that strap over the front ball of the left foot. Nice deep breath in again. Reach and extend on the exhale. Now we're pulling the toes. Pressing through that heel, flexing the toes, and we're bringing this thigh up towards the belly. All right, now let's do a slight inner rotation. Rotating the toes in. Really bringing that breath into the back of that thigh. Rotating back to center, and then rotating outward. Every right to be here. We have every right to be here now. We have every right to be fully who we came here to be. Rotating the foot back to center. One more time. We're going to pull just slightly in. Keeping that extension through the heel. Now we're going to continue with that extension, and we're going to start to drop it over to the left. Right knee is dropping slightly out to keep balance and to keep this right hip down. All right, now we bring it back up to center. One more time. Thigh towards the belly and the center. And we're going to bend the knee, release the strap, let the foot and leg drop to the earth. Feel that energy moving through those legs, and it's like, and then we got something going. Yes. All right, so we're going to just gently roll to the side, using your hands to come up. I'm going to come up to sitting. We're going to take the legs out in front of us. We're going to get the sits bones firmly planted on the earth. You need to Pick up some blush a little bit behind them. Get nice and grounded. All right, so we're going to begin to lean forward over the thighs, and we're going to allow the knees to bend. This is okay. We'll walk them back out as we can. So we're keeping the sits bones grounded, and we're really trying to bring the belly forward. Again, this isn't about trying to get the head to the knees. We're trying to get the belly to the thighs. So we're going to start to lean forward, and you can lift the knees as much as you need to kind of come up to meet the belly as well. So we're leaning as far as we can, finding that balance for, okay, this is as far forward as I can lean, or this is as much as I need to bend my knees to get this far forward. Okay, so we're just grabbing those feet, holding those toes back. Now we're going to start to just kind of walk those sits bones back a little bit, and the knees drop just slightly, keeping that belly on the thigh. The heart space is lifted. We're just sinking in. And as that begins to release, you can either walk your heels or walk your buttocks back. The legs become more straight. The knees are dropping. Really allowing your legs to just let go and surrender here, right? So we're not cringing or holding. We're just allowing it to rest. Not overextending it. Keeping the integrity of our edge, right? We don't want to pull anything. We're not trying to rip it out. We want to release it. We want to let it go. Allow it to be transmuted. Permission it to leave the body lovingly. And just continue to work at your own pace, walking back or taking the heels forward. So you come to that, is this your final resting place for today? I like to lift those ribs up, really place the belly down onto the thighs, and then drop it. Oh. And you can just kind of play with it, pressing those knees down, just finding that little playful zone right at the edge. Again, don't push past it. Just, you can kind of work with it, slight bicycling of the knees back and forth, lifting that belly, placing it down. Okay, and coming back up. I'm just going to take a moment to tap that out. Oh. All right. Now let's come to all fours. I'm going to get a little bit of free movement here. I like to go ahead and start, especially when with the hamstrings. I'm taking my right toes back and I'm pressing into that heel, really straightening that leg. I'm kind of pushing myself away with the hands. And then switching sides. Kind of opening up the calves, but it reaches up through that hamstring as well. Or those hamstring, it's a group of muscles. It's not one muscle. Coming back to center, just a little free movement, rotating the hips. Really extend that hip movement, taking really far out to the edges. Maybe even drop forward. Opposite directions. Just whatever your body is calling for, asking for in this moment. I'm just listening. Moving where it says. All right, so we're going to do just a little bit of a warm-up down dog to continue to open this up. So coming to all fours, drop that head and neck. Toes are turned under, really round up into your cat. Nice deep breath in. Pressing into those toes, lifting the heels, or the hips, planting the heels. And if you need to, just get some bicycling going on, pressing into one foot. Continue to press the earth away with your hand, really reaching those hips back. And you'll notice just slight movements and shifts, left or right. Get different, like various angles, right? So we can really open that up. I'm just playing with it, dropping that heart space down. Pressing into those heels. Really lift those toes and take those hips back. Now what do you do? Just shift your heels slightly out, toes slightly in. And then we're going to rotate back out, back to center. Rotate them slightly outwards now. The toes are slightly outward. It's not extreme, just a bit. Keep taking those hips back. Rotating back to center. Now we're going to just come back to all fours. Come back. Just take a little bit of a break on the hands. Back to all fours. Nice deep breath in. Exhale, we're going to step back into a plank. Inhale, the right knee up and in towards the chest. Exhale, step it through, coming into a lunge. All right, now I'm going to position myself here. I'm going to just kind of lift up a bit and get my belly kind of slightly on my thigh so that I'm kind of centered with this front foot. Kind of like my right ribs are resting on my thigh. I've got this back leg really reaching through the heel. Nice straight leg. My ankle is under the knee. And I'm dropping my pubic bone down towards the earth and lifting up this chest, lifting up the heart space, and I'm sinking down. Ha, ha. The knee wants to give. That's okay. Try to keep it as long as you can. And then when that ends for you, you can drop the knee down towards the earth. Ha, ha. And we're going to walk this front foot slightly forward. And we're going to continue to drop the pubic bone down towards the earth. Ha. Just really getting into those hip flexors. It's all interconnected and related, right? Okay, now we're going to shift our weight to the back knee. So lifting up, we're getting this knee right underneath the hip, and we've got this front foot flexed, nice straight leg. And here we go again with the belly. So we're straightening the back, lifting up that heart space, and we're bringing the belly towards the thigh. Oh. 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 Now here we go, rotate again. We're going, taking the toes slightly inward rotation. Woo! Ha. Rotating back to center. Now slightly outward rotation. Ha. Really press that knee down, keeping that leg nice and straight. And continuing to lower that belly. Ha. Ha. Again, don't push past your edge. Don't push past it. Be where you are. Ha. All right, coming back to center. And we're going to shift the weight forward one more time. And we're going to walk this front foot out slightly. Ha. All right, so this is a little bit of a play that we can do. We're dropping the pelvis down towards the earth. We can bend the front knee. And so I've got my front heel planted so that we're working towards Anamasana, or the splits, right? Trying to keep the pelvis nice and even so we're not, you know, torquing it, right? We want to try to keep the integrity of it. And we're just letting the pubic bone drop down towards the earth. Bend the knee as much as you need to. Ha. Now we're going to shift one more time, taking the weight slightly back. If this is hard on your knee, you can put a blanket or fold your mat and put it under that back knee. So we're straightening the front leg. Ha. 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 And we're just kind of playing back and forth with this. If you can go all the way to the splits, go for it. If you cannot, this is a way to play with it, right? My arms are my support system here. All right, now we're going to come back and just step that right foot back, coming back to all fours. Need to take a moment, shake that out. Ha. All right. Nice deep breath in. Exhale, really stepping back into plank. Ha. Inhale the left knee forward. Exhale, step it through, coming into a lunge. Again, I'm lifting up. Now centering the left ribs, the belly, onto the thigh. Reaching through that back heel, toes are turned under, and leg is nice and straight. Pressing the knee back as I'm dropping the pubic bone down towards the earth. Oh. Ha. Ha. Try to keep that leg extended. The knee wants to drop, but we're going to try to keep it going as long as you can. Ha. 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 Pubic bone is dropping. All right, when you're ready, dropping that knee. Okay, now we're going to come, we're dropping further into it from this position, dropping the pubic further down towards the earth. Ha. You feel it through those flexors, the hip flexors and the quad. Okay, now shifting the weight back, bringing it onto that back knee, reaching, extending through the front heel, toes are pulled back. Check in with that pelvis, find your seemingly level position. Ha. And then lifting up the heart space, bringing the belly down towards the thigh. Ha. Ha. Now inner rotation. Take those toes slightly in. Ha. Ha. Back to center. Outer rotation. Back to center. One more time, belly towards thigh. Ha. Ha. All right, shifting the weight back to center or forward again. Walking that front foot slightly forward. Dropping that pubic bone down towards the earth again. Ha. The arms are the support system in this. Just going as far forward as we can. The pubic bone drops. Ha. 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 All right, pressing into that front heel, we're straightening that front leg. Ha. Can we walk it forward? Ha. My toes are my support. They're helping support that knee on the back. Slightly walking this forward. And then I'm shifting, bending the front knee, dropping the pelvis down. Straighten the knee. Ha. Ha. Right? Ha ha. Okay. Now we're going to shift the weight back. Once again, we're just kind of walking that front foot back. We're going to come back to all fours. Ha. Shake it out. Shake it out. Shake it out. All right, one more on, let's see. Let's come into one more down dog here. Nice deep breath in. Exhale, pressing into the toes, lifting those heels, really pressing into the heels. Ha, press into the palms, pushing those hips back. Keep those toes lifted. Ha. Now, we're going to start to slowly walk ourselves back. And so as we do this, the weight starts to shift over the hips. As the hips start to come over the ankles and the knees. Oh. Now there's this point where we come into it, where the weight The weight is in the legs, right? We can feel that the legs are doing the support system. The arms are not really making the weight, but we're reaching through those arms because we're going to counterbalance. I'm going to step forward on my mat because I'm getting up in the curtains. All right. Now we're taking the hips back. So we're kind of taking them back behind the ankle. And slightly leaning back. But the hands on the mat are counterbalancing the weight. Ha. Lift those toes. Ha. 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 All right, then shifting the weight back to center. We're just going to come into a standing forward bend. Allow the hands to just rest, hang. If you want to hang them on each other, I just like to rest them sometimes. Ha. Ha. Now pressing into those heels, we're just going to start to roll up one vertebra at a time. Stacking, stacking, stacking. The head comes last. Bringing the shoulders back. And then the head stacks up on top. Take a moment to just move about, feel it. Feel the freedom, feel the tension. Feel what's still there and what is opening up. Ha. Ha. All right. I'm gonna scoot back a little bit so I'm not totally chopping off the head here. All right, coming to your mat. Placing the hands upon the hips so we can be in awareness of our pelvis here. We're gonna step the right foot forward. You're gonna take the back foot and do a slight outward rotation for a little bit more balance. And now we're gonna lean forward again. This is a belly to thigh. Just slowly coming down, bringing that belly, bringing that belly, bringing that belly nice straight back. And bringing the hands down to the earth. If you can't reach it, a block would be good here. Otherwise, you're bringing your fingertips down towards the earth. You can also support yourself on your leg. Just try to keep this back nice and straight and bringing that belly down towards the thigh. Down towards the thigh. Ha. Pressing that knee back, lifting those toes. Ha ha ha. Belly towards the thigh. Belly towards the thigh. Oh. All right, pressing into that front foot, and then we're rolling up. And step back. Back to center, place the hands upon the hips just for reference. Step that left foot forward. Ha. Slightly rotate the back foot. Open. Again, checking in with our alignment. And we're coming belly towards thigh. Keep that straight back. And you can walk your foot forward if you need to, just slightly. Pressing the knee back, lifting those toes. Bring the belly towards the thigh. Cool. The knee wants to give, and my belly has to come towards the thigh. It wants to like, there, chi. So it's just a constant, like, check in here, 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 check in here. Oh. 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 All right, now we're going to roll back up. Oh, coming back to center. Again, just shake it out, shake it out, shake it, shake it. All right, we're going to come back down to our mat. Just come back to sitting, making our way to Shavasana, but we're going to do one more check-in. Just to see where we're at with our openings. See what's changed, see what's shifted. We're going to come back to the folded leaf that we did before. This time just taking the knees flat, reaching out, grabbing the toes, lifting that heart space, bringing the belly towards the thigh. When it reaches that point, the knees want to bend, it's okay. You can allow them to bend. And if you can, just lying over. Noticing the difference of where we started to where we are now. Oh. Oh. Yay, we're making a difference. All right, we're gonna come into Shavasana and we are running out of time. So I highly recommend legs up the wall for Shavasana today because we've been working so much around the hips. So just in case we, over torqued or something, we can get, help reset that sacrum just in case. And it's nice for the continued opening of the hamstrings as well and letting it just integrate. And so come to the wall, just turn to your side, take your buttocks, put it up against a corner, and then just take the legs up the wall. This is continuing to open up those hamstrings, but also allowing you to integrate by just relaxing into it. So they're nice and extended, but there's not work. You're not actively working. The gravity is pressing the feet and the legs down into the hip sockets. This realigns the sacrum and the pelvis. And it's also a very resting spot. So sinking in. If you don't have a wall that you can access, but you have a chair or a bed, you can place your knees up and then rest the lower half of the legs onto the chair, couch, bed, what have you. The extended #1 recommendation. And as you sink in, coming into the breath, feel the freedom, feel the lightness within your being, within your body. Feel the support of the earth. You are fully supported. Feel that right to be here, the right to be who you are. In fact, the absolute necessity for you to show up in your truest form. This is how we break the cycle. This is how we break these patterns. This is how we get out of the loop. Everybody coming in and becoming their truest self. Find your pillow and sit upon it. Don't go down the rabbit holes. And because this is so rooted, I do feel, again, to pull out the drum. I'm just going to drum for a moment. And as this completes, you're welcome to stay in your Shavasana as long as you feel called. And yes, let's do it. Okay. Thanks for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.